So I am about to make this super easy salmon, and this one's got the skin on. You can use this recipe with the salmon with the skin on, or you can take it off, either way. So I've just kind of let my salmon pieces defrost on the counter from frozen, and this is real simple. This is a really good easy recipe for a weeknight. And what I have here is some honey. This is I'm actually out of it. It's this unfiltered organic cream honey, which is delicious. I have put about a teaspoon or a little bit more of garlic. I keep my garlic in a container like this in the fridge because I just process it. I process a bunch of garlic with a little bit of olive oil in my food processor, and then I just always have it handy. I'm running out of that as well. And here I have some salt and some pepper, which I'm gonna go ahead and add in here. So I'm making like a little rub for my salmon. And the last but not least that I'm gonna add in for the seasoning is this Dijon mustard. You can use regular mustard if you don't have Dijon mustard, but just keep in mind it's gonna be a little bit different. This mustard here is the Dijon mustard. It's more, tart, and you can see it says made with white wine. So just be careful with how much you use if you don't like too much of it, or if you just prefer the regular good old mustard, then you can use that. So I'm just gonna mix that up to put it on our salmon. So I wanted to show you just a little bit. Sometimes I come across this with salmon where I find sometimes just, see that? I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if you can see it, but you don't want to eat this, okay? You don't want to have to be eating the salmon and try to swallow this. So just kind of like, it's like a little bone, I guess, from the fish. So just kind of check your salmon. Usually the ones that are, that come already pre-cut and pre-packaged like this one, I don't have that problem, but sometimes I do. So I just kind of run my fingers over it. And if I find anything, I pull it out. Here's another one. So just be careful. Whoa, that one's a big one. All right, so I think that's all that was in there. And you can probably use this same kind of seasoning on like chicken or any other type of fish, but I kind of like to pair the mustard and the honey, kind of like a honey mustard on salmon. I kind of like that flavor profile. So let's go ahead and just, see, I just mixed it up, and I'm gonna go ahead and just cover my salmon with it. And this is it. This is gonna be my seasoning. This is delicious, you guys. And the easiest way to make salmon, I actually have found, I always used to make it on the stovetop, but ever since I have an air fryer, I find that it is so much easier and less messier to do this, to cook the salmon in the air fryer. So that's how I'm gonna cook it tonight, and I'm gonna show you guys here in a minute. So I'm gonna put half of this, about half of it, and halfway through the cooking cycle, I will add the other half of the seasoning. Because I feel like sometimes with the air fryer, since you're cooking things faster and at a higher temperature, if you're using garlic, raw garlic like I'm using here, it can like burn a little bit. So I don't want to put it all at once. So that's good for now. And I'm gonna go ahead and put these in the air fryer. So here's my air fryer. I have one of these Power XL, and I already have it on there. This is my basket. I'm not gonna spray it or anything. I feel like salmon has a lot of fat content, so even if it does stick a little bit, it's not a big deal because it'll just be the skin. But I don't preheat my air fryer or anything. I've seen people preheating it, and if you wanna preheat it, you're welcome to, but I've never really had any problems just cooking it straight like this without preheating it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and lay my 3 pieces. And I feel like this big one, although it's bigger, it's gonna, since it's thinner, it's probably gonna cook a little faster, but it's fine. Okay, and just wanna make sure I don't discard any of this good juice. And if your salmon is frozen like mine, you want to make sure you drain all the water out of it, because you know, when they come in individual packets, when they're frozen, there's always water in their solution. So as it thaws out, you're going to want to make sure that you get rid of that water before you start cooking them, so you don't have all that extra water. So I'm just going to go ahead and start my air fryer. And my air fryer has these little photos, which are pretty cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and press the fish and see what happens. It says 325. So it'll just automatically start, and looks like it's gonna cook for about 15 minutes. So halfway through, I'm gonna check it and show you guys. Okay, you guys, so let's check our salmon. Ooh, it's coming along really nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of this honey garlic mustard sauce. It smells amazing. So I don't even know if this is like a recipe. I think it's just more of like a way of making salmon. It's pretty simple, but I will definitely have the ingredients and the measurements that I used for this amazing dressing under the description of the video. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this salmon back in the air fryer for the rest of the time, which is like another 8 minutes. Actually, it looks like I have a tiny bit left. And we all know ingredients are so expensive nowadays, my goodness, and sometimes hard to come by, honestly. Here we go. Okay, so while our salmon is cooking in the air fryer, I have 2 pots of water that is coming up to a steam. And in one of these, I'm going to boil or steam one of these beautiful plantains. If you're not familiar with them, they're not bananas. They look like banana, but they're plantains. They're not as sweet. This one, they start out very green, okay? And you can eat them green. There's different ways to make them. But this one is kind of like not 100% ripe, but it's just ripe enough and beautiful to steam it and just eat it just like that. My husband loves that, so this is a huge one. So I probably will end up just making half or just having leftover. So I'm gonna use that pot for this. And then over here in this pot, we're going to be steaming some green beans, just water and maybe a tiny bit of salt. And I know, don't come for me, these have been cut. These are fresh and they come like this. Yeah, this one's like in this bag, you know, just the full-size green beans, but we don't like them that big, I guess, for when we're getting ready to eat them. It's a little bit uncomfortable, so I cut them in half, and that way we're all happy. So I'm just gonna drop them in here, and you're gonna cook the green beans depending on how soft you like them. I like them still with a little bit of crunch, but my husband likes them completely cooked, so like more on the softer side. So you know, I may take some out just for me when they're still crunchy and leave the rest for him. And that's what we're doing now, and I'll show you the plantain here in a moment because my water is boiling. So in case you've never seen one of these get peeled, you basically, and you can see I cut this one in half, you just cut them in half, and then with a sharp knife you make sharp cuts, but not all the way through, just through the skin, okay, all around. And then the skin should come right off if the plantain is ready to cook. Even if it's green, it should come off. I can smell my salmon is almost done. So I'm gonna go ahead and, so then what I do is I cut these like this. And we just put them in that water and boil them. These will be cooked very quickly. Ooh, they're a little hard to pick up. So I'm gonna put them in the boiling water and I'll show you when they're done. So typically, again, these plantains are gonna be done within the next like 8 to 10 minutes. I have them at basically just steaming, and it'll come to a boil in a little bit. So I'm just gonna cover them and just let them get cooked on their own. Just kind of like halfway cover them. And here my green beans are still steaming. So we're almost done. So let's check on our salmon. Oh my goodness. Look at that, you guys. Oh, it smells amazing. And it's done. It's done. So my green beans have steamed right here. I drained all the water out, and all I'm gonna do now is just throw them back in that pot. I have the heat to medium low. Sorry about my dog. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put about a tablespoon of butter. And this balsamic vinegar, oh my God, it is delicious, you guys. I'm almost out of it, so I'm just gonna use a tiny bit. It gives it this really nice, sweet, tangy taste, just a little bit, just to give it something. You can add salt if you want. I'm not gonna add salt today, but you can add a pinch of salt if you want, and a pinch of pepper, but for me, this is enough. And I'm just gonna toss that in there until the butter melts and everything just becomes one delicious item. It smells so good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cover it. I'm actually gonna turn off the heat because they're already cooked. And here are my plantains. You can see they turned this beautiful golden yellow, and they're pretty soft. That took literally like 7 or 8 minutes. They're very soft. If you go like this, that means they're done. And this is a starch, you guys. Of course, it's not low carb or keto, but it is gluten-free. And you know, if you do find a good plantain like this every once in a while, you may want to give it a try. If you like sweet and savory, then you're gonna love the combination of the green beans and the plantain with the salmon. I feel like I'm kind of fighting my Cuban American roots here, where I have this going on, which is very, very Hispanic. And then I have this, which I'm not saying Hispanics don't eat this, but you know, it's more of, it's not much of a, in the Latin culture to eat greens like that. And then I have the salmon, but it's gonna be delicious, and I'll show you what my plate looks like. So here is my plate, you guys. I'm so excited. There's my green beans, my salmon, and I'm just having 2 pieces of the plantain because I love them, but I could easily eat a whole bunch of them, but I'm trying to not do that. That should be the smallest item on my plate. So last thing is I'm gonna just go ahead and drizzle some fresh lemon juice on my salmon. Oh my God. You guys have to make this. I'm gonna drizzle a little bit on here as well. Why not? You have to make this. You have to make this. It's super easy, super simple weeknight dinner, and it was like 30 minutes. Even if you don't have the plantain, if you just do these 2 items, you really can't go wrong. It's delicious in leftovers. Reheats very well as well. And I didn't have to make a mess on my stovetop with the salmon or anything like that. The smell, you can barely smell the salmon being cooked in the air fryer. So if you have an air fryer, try it. It's delicious. Thanks for watching, you guys. Leave me a comment below and let me know if you make this recipe, if you like salmon, what kind of fish you guys like to eat or cook, and how do you make it. Bye, see you in the next one. What are you doing, cutie? What are you doing? Hey there, what are you doing? Hi. How's it going? You can smell the salmon, can't you? Yeah, but you can't have any. Crazy. One of her favorite spots.